So your MANON is trash and you're trying to get better. I got you. You know, I'm always all about getting people right.
So in this video, we're gonna go over neutral, we're gonna go over the corner setups, we're gonna go over what buttons you're supposed to press, how you're supposed to knock people down, the whole shebang. So stick around, I got some tips for you. With that being said, I pull out my episode trusty notepad and let's get started. So first thing I need you to stop doing is to stop being a dummy, okay? I know all of y'all, I see y'all, I watch the gameplays, I watch the footage. First thing y'all do the moment you have the chance, command grab. Don't get me wrong, you know, it's fun, it's good, it does damage, but you gotta get command grab off the brain. The command grab is an accessory, it's not the main dish, it's an appetizer. You feel me? With that being said, right, let's move forward. Now when it comes to which one you should choose on which situations, what I see a lot of you guys do is that every single time you get the chance, you're going for this. Now, while this is not the worst thing in the world, what ends up happening a lot of the time is that if you just keep committing to this option every time, you either, this happens after drive rush, so you end up spending 3 meter to try and pull up, on top of which the mix isn't the greatest thing you've ever seen, on top of which, so there's a lot there to be desired. So what should you do? If you are at 2 medals or lower, focus on getting the medals up. Once you reach 3 medals, okay, that is 2 hit grabs or 2 command grabs, right? Once you reach that point, you should be going for the knockdown here, okay? The reason being is that this knockdown enables a lot of our offense, right? On top of which, if you are successful, then here, then you get better mix, right? You can also get command grabs, and that's kind of the thing about this, is that once you get your third medal and you knock them down, they have to guess between command grab and pressure anyways, so you're gonna end up getting the 4 medals or maybe even the 5 medals anyway through natural combat. So stop focusing on getting the medals every time, start knocking them down at the 3 medal mark, okay? So if you clicked on this video, I'm sure you need some help. Lord knows I did at some point. But here's the thing, you want your favorite content creators to come and help you, but let's be real, they're charging like $60 per hour. You don't need that, but when I got you good. Over on this channel, I do free coaching sessions on Tuesdays and on Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. EST. So what does that look like? I essentially go over your matches. I give you tools so that you can succeed the next time you open up rank. So once again, join my Discord. Wait till I'm live either on Tuesdays or on Thursdays, 6:30 p.m. EST. Be there or be square. And yeah, I'm not your favorite pro, but I'm available. Those pros are not available. So once again, join the live, get better, and I'll help you improve. Back to the video. When your opponent blocks something, okay, that is plus. If it's not plus, they're gonna match anyway, right? But when they block something that is plus, they're gonna try one of 2 things, okay? They're gonna try and jump, or they're gonna try and block, right? Very simple concepts. But what do we do about said players? Okay, if you watched my previous video, I talked about being in either the command grab state or the strike state, right? If you're in the strike state, then you're pressing more buttons. So this would include going like this, right? Knocking them down and continually going for pressure and just going for a bunch of buttons, right? If you're in command throw state, then you're going to be a little bit more inclined to use a couple more grabs. And if you watch any of my gameplay or any of my fighting, you'll notice I'll switch between the two, where I'm pretty passive when it comes to using this until a certain point where I'm just like dash, command grab, right? And I get real egregious with it. Right, so let's suppose our opponent decides to hold up after blocking something. Okay, very simple thing. We go to block reversal and they try to vertical jump. In the case that they block something that's plus, let's say they block this. Oh, let's have them block it. First hit. Let's say they block something like this, okay? They're gonna hold up on the situation. In these cases here, it might be good to check them like so, because you can get either a free stock, or you get the free corner carry off of the situation, which my input come out. Right? You carry them to the corner, and then you get your plus frames, your plus frames. Okay, so off of situations where they try and jump, right, you'll either try to press follow-up buttons, or you try and do normal throw. Now the reason why you'd want to try and do normal throw here is because it'll give you enough time to react in the case that they try to jump, right? It gives you a lot of time to react. If we go for a command grab here, obviously, you know what I mean, we're in sugar, honey, and iced tea, you feel me? But if we do it this way, then we can bait them out. Now, one thing I will say is that instead of using forward throw, you should use back throw. Reason being is because back throw keeps you a little bit closer. Forward throw puts you really far away from your opponent. So off of back throw, what you can do if you're successful, you can do back throw into standing medium punch and still reach him. And in the case that they try to press something, okay? So with that being said, the other option they'll do when they block something that is plus is they will sit there and they will just continue to block, okay? Now, the options that you have here is obviously you can do command grab. I do want to note that doing command grab is still a risk. You always need to keep this in mind, is that this is considered, when you go this option, you're gambling, okay? If you play any game, you know what I mean, you play a little pool here and there, bro, you know how you be gambling, you know, that's how it is. So you could also go for normal throw. I already mentioned normal throw. The reason why we would try to go for normal throw can kind of initiate this sort of game plan where they want to, it's less risky than the command grab, essentially, is what I'm trying to get at, right? So you could also go for a tick throw. Now, if you're not aware of what a tick throw is, it's essentially you're going for a button that you're going for a button first and then going into the command grab, okay? So what you can do here is something like this. Well, obviously he held up. So what you can do is something like this, right? You do need to be a little bit more mindful, right? Because if you go for this or something like this, that's something that I like to do a lot as well. It's because what will happen is that, let's say our opponent just decides to hold up as well. Like, this covers a lot of options. So if the opponent decides to hold up, the crouching light kick will also check their attempt to hold up, right? Now, if they're strictly just holding up, you're cooked. But if they tap up, then that's when the command grab will get them. And a lot of people end up tapping grab as opposed to actually just holding grab, okay? Now, moving on to neutral. Okay, when you're playing neutral, the buttons that you want to use while playing neutral are going to be your crouching medium kick. I know a lot of people say that your crouching medium kick is not drive rush cancelable, so what can it do? It is actually a very strong tool, right? Not only does it space you out for a spacing trap, which I will show a little bit later, hang tight for that, but it also allows you to do push people back in towards the corner, which is kind of our goal. So once they're trapped, then we can kind of run a little bit of offense from there, right? So buttons that you should be using is your crouching medium kick, your standing heavy kick, your standing heavy punch, and your overhead, and on occasion your standing medium kick. Now, I just threw a whole bunch of things at you, but I'm going to break them down individually. Your crouching medium kick is generally your go-to button in neutral. This is to push your opponent back, right, towards the corner and check their feet simultaneously. It'll also encourage your opponent to try and press back. So then what you'll do is that you'll walk forward, walk back, wait for something to whiff, and then you can use your standing light kick or your crouching medium punch to try and whiff punch these things, right? On top of which, let's say our opponent decides to try and press crouching medium kick, right? Because they're like, oh, you press crouching medium kick too, they get whiff punished, right? Then put them in a blender, that sort of thing, right? So it's really good for cases like this. You know what I mean? It checks your opponent, makes them keep honest. So then what ends up happening is that they don't want to press immediately afterwards. So then you can take more space like so, right? After they whiff it, and then you can try to whiff punish them. Now your standing heavy kick is good for checking your opponent that's really far away and just considering walking forward. So you kind of want to check them with that button. Now if you want a button that has less recovery, because your standing heavy kick has a lot of recovery, so if they happen to jump at the time that you're pressing this, you're cooked. Okay, standing heavy punch is a little bit less risky in that regard. It has a little bit less range, but the benefit is the fact that if you are successful in hitting it, you're +3 from this situation, and then they now have to guess. Okay, so that's kind of how the benefit works off of that specific button. Now as for your standing medium kick is good for one of two things. You need a button that goes far and is drive rush cancelable. That would be your standing medium punch and your standing medium kick. Sometimes your standing medium punch ain't doing the job, but you know what will is that your standing medium kick will cook it up for you, right? So what can sometimes happen is that you can interrupt someone's attempt to press buttons back. It also leads into your mix. It's a very good button to have on deck, and a good button to start using a little bit more often. Okay, so when it comes to the corner situation, I want you to focus more on being reactive to what they're doing, as well as trying to tear down their drive gauge as much as possible. So what does that look like? I'm gonna put him on standard. Oh. So what ends up happening is that they start blocking a lot of stuff. And when they start blocking a lot of stuff, their drive gauge starts to hurt real fast. As you can see, their drive gauge starts to hurt real fast. Now, the thing that you're going to be trying to force the most is, at the very least, take them to yellow. The reason why you want to take them their drive gauge to yellow is because if they do happen to drive rush cancel, now they put themselves in burnout. And then once they put themselves in burnout, we can loop them. You know the thing, you know what I mean? Also, this is +1, so keep that in mind. So now you can kind of loop them. And then, just as I shown before, you can also use your crouching medium kick as well. Just base them out, right? And then whiff punish them based on the options that they're choosing, that sort of thing, right? Make sure they're continually guessing, and then pressure them with your buttons, right? And the beauty of pressuring them with your buttons is that once you continue to do so, they're going to be less incentivized to try and worm their way out, in which you can go for the light command grab, which goes the furthest, or you can try using the EX1 as well, right? So these are kind of the things how you want to deal with them. I wouldn't suggest DI all too often. It's you can sneak it, sprinkle it in like you saw, but I wouldn't go geared towards it a little bit too often. Like I mentioned, just stick to these options. It makes them really uncomfortable. And then if they by any chance are just paying attention to just your buttons and finding an opportunity to try and jump out, you can also you're also at the right spacing for you to anti-air them if they try to jump at you, right? So if you do that, you're also at the perfect range to jump to anti them. And then if you're really on top of it, you can go for an anti-air combo in which you bombo their health bar, right? So these are the things that you kind of want to structure your offense off of, and it'll allow you to clean up your gameplay a lot more than you have been. Okay, now with that being said, is there any other Manon questions that you need answered? And by the way, I do have one extra little tip. Okay, a lot of you don't do this. Now, let's say you knock down your opponent with your kicks here. Okay, let's say you have three medals. You do what I say, and then you do this as your knockdown, right? If you do this, you do dash back heavy punch, you're +5. Okay, +5 means it's party time. Okay, what you can also do is you can whip crouching medium punch into back heavy punch and get the same reward. Okay, you can also go for a double standing medium punch. If done correctly, you can force a +2 situation. I just like the dash situation. I think the dash situation is probably the most reliable of them all, right? If you get it correctly, right, you get +5. and then you force a situation in which they have to guess off of +5, right, or +6. So off of this situation, you can also get heavy command grab. You can whiff heavy command grab, so they literally have to guess on this situation here, right? And let's say that instead of they hold up, right? Let's say they hold up in this situation here, right? Then we get subsequent. Okay, we get a follow-up standing medium punch, if I get it correctly. And then we marble them, right? You're like, yes, you guessed wrong, sucks to suck. And then you die, right? So these are the sort of things that I wanted to show you guys. I know there are people who are asking for an offensive guide. These are things that I want you to start incorporating in your games, and let me know in the comments down below whether it's working for you or not. And if it's not, I got more in the back for you. With that being said, have a good one, y'all. Peace.